I was actually like not feeling like myself, and I was like, man, I'm like depressed.
That was Michael B. Jordan speaking on how he hasn't been feeling like himself lately, and now we might know why. Word on the block is he's just been pulled into the mess surrounding Diddy's infamous freak-offs, and the internet is spiraling. Diddy's court case has been wild for months, but this right here, it just took things to another level. They've been throwing all kinds of names around, but when a name like Michael B. Jordan pops up, you already know it's about to get real messy. So what exactly is going on? Michael B. Jordan gets caught in Diddy drama. Michael B. Jordan, that dude who blew up in Black Panther and Creed, just found his name mixed up in one of the most messed up Hollywood scandals of 2025. During jury selection for Sean Diddy Combs' trial, which started May 5th, 2025 in New York, Jordan's name was on this crazy list with like 190 other celebs they showed to potential jurors. When MBJ's name came up alongside Kanye West, Kid Cudi, and Mike Myers, social media went wild with all kinds of cap about how he might be involved in Diddy's alleged illegal activities. But let's keep it a buck. When you look at the real facts, you see Jordan's more like a victim than someone who was in on it. For those who ain't been following the case, Diddy is facing some serious federal charges, including trafficking, racketeering conspiracy, and transportation for prostitution. The feds are talking about these things they call freak-offs, basically drug-fueled performances that allegedly involve forcing people to participate. According to court docs and all the reporting, these freak-offs were wild encounters, often involving female victims and male workers, with some sessions going for days. The feds claim Diddy was using violence and intimidation to keep victims participating, while his business empire and crew allegedly helped make it happen by booking hotel rooms, stocking supplies, including those infamous 1,000 plus bottles of baby oil they seized from his crib, and arranging travel for victims and sex workers. But why are they even mentioning Michael B. Jordan in all this? The answer goes back to 2015 and involves Cassie Ventura, Diddy's ex, who's now a key witness in the case. In 2015, when Cassie was on a break from Diddy, she had what legal docs called a flirtatious relationship with an actor, later identified as Michael B. Jordan. This little situationship came to light in Ventura's 2023 lawsuit against Diddy, which got settled mad quick but had some wild allegations of abuse and coercion. According to Ventura's lawsuit, when Diddy found out about her thing with Jordan, he allegedly called the actor and threatened him. The lawsuit states that the actor proceeded to call Miss Ventura and tell her, "You really need to call Mr. Combs because he just called me and threatened me." This threat seems to be the only reason Jordan's name is in the trial, not because he was involved in Diddy's alleged criminal activities, but because he might have seen firsthand how Diddy was controlling and threatening people. Multiple sources, including Rolling Stone and CNN, have confirmed Jordan won't be called as a witness and isn't implicated in any charges against Diddy. Real talk, Jordan's experience with Diddy seems to follow a pattern that prosecutors are alleging, that Diddy would threaten anybody who got close to Cassie. Kid Cudi, another artist named during jury selection, apparently had a similar experience with. Cassie's lawsuit even claims that Diddy once blew up Cudi's car. After finding out they were talking, Jordan himself has kept quiet about the whole situation. His people haven't responded to requests for comment, which suggests he's trying to stay away from the mess. This silence has let people speculate, but it also shows he doesn't want anything to do with a case that has nothing to do with his own actions. On social media, reactions to Jordan being mentioned have been all over the place. Some fans jumped to conclusions real quick, while others saw what was really good. One ex-user wrote, "So far, Michael B. Jordan is only named as a victim of Diddy's behavior, so I don't know why people are being dramatic," correctly pointing out that evidence suggests Jordan was on the receiving end of Diddy's alleged threatening behavior, not participating in anything shady. Another ex-user provided context by saying, "It's been confirmed that it was actor Michael B. Jordan who was threatened by P. Diddy for having a flirtatious relationship with Cassie after her breakup with Combs. This is why his name was brought up in pre-trial." On Reddit, people were worried about the impact on Jordan's reputation just from being mentioned. One user wrote, "Understand what you're saying, but if Michael B. Jordan has nothing at all to do with this and is just getting name dropped as a reference point, then this headline is brutal for him, showing how even being associated can cause damage." The timing of all this is especially tough for Jordan, coming right when his new film Sinners is doing its thing at the box office. Some social media posts have tried to connect the movie and the trial, but those connections seem completely made up. In a weird twist of irony, this ain't the first time Jordan's been curved by Diddy's world, though in a much more low-key way. A 2015 TMZ video shows Jordan being denied entry to Diddy's Diddy's BET Awards after party because it was at capacity, which hits different now, given what we know.
Diddy's BET Awards after party at BOA. Michael B. Jordan shows up to the party and they won't let him inside.
The video shows Diddy later trying to bring Jordan in, but by then Jordan had already bounced. This seemingly innocent interaction from years ago now looks like a crazy preview to the more serious allegations of threats that would come out later. Looking at the bigger picture of Cassie Ventura's relationship with Diddy helps explain Jordan's brief appearance in this story. Ventura and Diddy had an on and off relationship from around 2007 to 2018, with the Jordan situation happening during one of their off periods in 2015. After Diddy allegedly threatened Jordan, Ventura got back with Diddy, continuing their relationship until 2018. Her 2023 lawsuit painted a disturbing picture of that relationship, describing a cycle of abuse, violence, trafficking. That included Diddy allegedly blowing up a man's car, dangling a friend over a balcony, and asking Ventura to carry his gun. The lawsuit also claimed that Diddy introduced Ventura to a drug-fueled lifestyle to keep her compliant, which might explain why she went back to him after the Jordan situation. The most damning evidence supporting Ventura's claims dropped in May 2024, when CNN leaked security footage showing Diddy kicking Ventura in a hotel hallway in 2016. This happened just a year after the alleged threats against Jordan and led to a public apology from Diddy, who said, "I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now." In a video clip from before all these allegations came out, Jordan spoke about relationship challenges.
I go back and forth between wanting partnership and then not knowing what's the best partner for me. Like, bringing them into my world, what I got going on, isn't easy.
While Jordan was talking generally about his own relationships, these words hit different considering his brief connection to someone caught in Diddy's alleged web of control and abuse. As the trial continues, with opening statements expected on May 12, 2025, it's important to remember that Michael B. Jordan's name appears. To be on the sidelines of this case, not because of any wrongdoing, but possibly as someone who briefly crossed paths with a much larger and more disturbing story. As multiple legit sources have confirmed, Jordan isn't expected to testify and isn't implicated in any of the charges against Diddy. Behind the Cassie connection with Jordan. The connection between Michael B. Jordan and Sean Diddy Combs' legal troubles centers entirely around Cassie Ventura, who has become a pivotal figure in the case against the music mogul. To fully understand this relationship triangle, we need to examine the timeline of events and the dynamics at play during that period in 2015 when Jordan and Ventura briefly connected. Cassie Ventura first met Diddy in 2005 when she was just 19 years old. He signed her to his Bad Boy Records label after hearing her debut single, Me and You, which became a hit in 2006. Their professional relationship evolved into a romantic one around 2007, though they didn't publicly confirm their relationship until 2012. This created an immediate power imbalance. Diddy was not only Cassie's boyfriend, but also her boss and the person controlling her career. By 2015, Cassie and Diddy's relationship had already developed the on-again, off-again pattern that would characterize it until their final split in 2018. During one of these off periods in 2015, Cassie was filming a movie in Cape Town, South Africa, where she began what her lawsuit described as a flirtatious relationship with an actor, later identified as Michael B. Jordan. The timing is significant. By 2015, Jordan's star was rapidly rising in Hollywood. He had already delivered a powerful performance in Fruitvale Station and was on the verge of global stardom with roles in Creed and Black Panther on the horizon. For Cassie, who had been in Diddy's orbit for nearly a decade at that point, this connection with Jordan might have represented a fresh start with someone closer to her own age and outside Diddy's controlling influence. According to Cassie's lawsuit, she and Jordan spent New Year's Eve together that year, suggesting their connection had progressed beyond mere flirtation. However, the relationship was short-lived, ending abruptly when Diddy discovered their connection. The lawsuit alleges that upon learning about Jordan and Cassie, Diddy called Jordan directly and threatened him. Jordan then contacted Cassie to warn her about the threat, telling her, "You really need to call Mr. Combs because he just called me and threatened me." This incident effectively ended whatever was developing between Jordan and Cassie. What followed this threat is particularly telling about the alleged dynamics of control in Diddy and Cassie's relationship. Rather than continuing her connection with Jordan, Cassie reconciled with Diddy, resuming their relationship until their final split in 2018. This pattern, Cassie attempting to establish connections outside Diddy's orbit, followed by threats and intimidation, and ultimately a return to Diddy, aligns with the cycle of control described in her lawsuit. In one of his rare comments that might reflect on relationships and loss, Jordan once said,
Love is worth fighting for. you know, and cherish the time that you have with the people that you really care about, because tomorrow isn't promised.
While this clip doesn't directly address his brief connection with Cassie, it shows his philosophical approach to relationships and perhaps hints at lessons learned from past experiences. The threat against Jordan wasn't an isolated incident, according to Cassie's lawsuit. Another similar situation allegedly occurred with musician Kid Cudi, who was also named during Diddy's trial jury selection. In that case, Cassie claimed that Diddy not only threatened Cudi, but allegedly went further, blowing up Cudi's car after learning of their connection. This pattern of threatening behavior toward men in Cassie's life suggests a systematic approach to control and isolation. The aftermath of these events for Cassie was stark. After reconciling with Diddy following the Jordan incident, their relationship continued for approximately 3 more years. During this period, some of the most serious alleged abuses occurred, including the 2016 hotel assault captured on security footage and released by CNN in May 2024. This video showed Diddy physically attacking Cassie in a hotel hallway, providing visual evidence that supported her claims of abuse. According to federal prosecutors, this hotel incident occurred when Cassie was attempting to escape a freak-off session. The video's release marked a turning point in public perception of the case, making it difficult to dismiss Cassie's allegations as merely claims without evidence. For Jordan, being dragged into this narrative years later must be particularly frustrating. There's no evidence he had any further contact with either Cassie or Diddy after the 2015 threat incident. He has forged his own successful career in Hollywood, becoming one of the industry's most respected actors and producers. Having his name mentioned in connection with such serious allegations, even as a peripheral figure who was allegedly threatened rather than involved in any wrongdoing, creates an unfortunate association. The brief connection between Jordan and Cassie also raises questions about what might have been. Had Diddy not allegedly threatened Jordan and pressured Cassie to return to their relationship, would Cassie have escaped the cycle of abuse years earlier? This counterfactual question is impossible to answer, but highlights the potentially life-altering impact of Diddy's alleged controlling behavior. Cassie has since moved on with her life. In 2019, she married personal trainer Alex Fine and has focused on family life, seemingly finding the stability and safety that eluded her during her years with Diddy. Jordan, meanwhile, has never publicly addressed his brief connection to Cassie or the alleged threat from Diddy, maintaining a dignified silence even as his name has been drawn into the current legal proceedings. Jordan's approach to relationships, gleaned from various interviews over the years, suggests a thoughtful perspective on the challenges of balancing personal and professional life.
I love you, you love me, that should be enough, right? It's not quite that simple. You know, I think finding the right person to understand all of me, but then all that comes with me as well.
These reflections, while not specific to his experience with Cassie, demonstrate the complexity he recognizes in relationships, particularly for someone in the public eye. The social media reaction to Jordan's name being mentioned in the trial has been mixed, with some immediately jumping to unfounded conclusions about his potential involvement in Diddy's alleged crimes. On Reddit, users debated the implications, with one noting, "Just because he's named doesn't mean he's done anything wrong. Pretty sure he's referenced in Cassie's lawsuit as she had a flirty relationship with him in 2015. When Diddy found out, he allegedly threatened Michael." Another Reddit user expressed concern about the potential reputational damage simply from association. "Understand what you're saying, but if Michael B. Jordan has nothing at all to do with this and is just getting name dropped as a reference point, then this headline is brutal for him." On X, formerly Twitter, some users provided context to counter speculation. It's been confirmed that it was actor Michael B. Jordan that was threatened by P. Diddy for having a flirtatious relationship with Cassie after her breakup with Combs. This is why his name was brought up in pre-trial. Others voiced support for Jordan. So far, Michael B. Jordan is only named as a victim of Diddy's behavior, so I don't know why people are being dramatic. Some comments veered into unsubstantiated speculation, such as one X user who cryptically wrote, "Calling it now, the Black Panther actor died at a Diddy party," a baseless claim that demonstrates how quickly misinformation can spread in high-profile cases. The fact that Jordan's name came up in this context, as someone who was allegedly threatened for simply having a connection with Cassie, provides a glimpse into the controlling behavior that prosecutors allege characterized Diddy's relationships. It also demonstrates how wide-ranging the impact of such behavior can be, affecting not just the primary victim but also others in their orbit. As the trial proceeds, it's important to remember that Jordan's role in this narrative appears to be that of someone who was on the receiving end of threatening behavior, not someone involved in any wrongdoing. His brief connection to Cassie represents just one small chapter in a much larger and more disturbing story that continues to unfold in the courtroom. Inside Diddy's alleged crimes and ongoing trial. The federal case against Sean Diddy Combs represents one of the most significant downfalls of a major music industry figure in recent memory. From hip-hop mogul and cultural icon to federal defendant facing life imprisonment, Diddy's trajectory has been dramatic and disturbing. Understanding the full scope of the allegations against him provides essential context for why Michael B. Jordan's name has been drawn into this narrative. Diddy's legal troubles began to surface publicly in November 2023, when his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura filed a lawsuit accusing him of rape, physical abuse, and forcing her into freak-offs. While this lawsuit was settled within a day for an undisclosed amount, it opened the floodgates for further allegations and investigations. By September 16, 2024, those investigations had culminated in Diddy's arrest by federal agents at a New York City hotel on a sealed indictment. When the indictment was unsealed the following day, it revealed serious charges: racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, and transportation to engage in prostitution. The indictment contained disturbing allegations. It claimed that since at least 2008, Diddy had abused, threatened, and coerced women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. It alleged that he used his business empire to facilitate crimes including sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. Central to these allegations are the freak-offs, described as drug-fueled sexual performances with male sex workers and victims like Cassie Ventura. According to prosecutors, these events often lasted for days and involved drugs like marijuana, cocaine, and ecstasy. Victims were allegedly given drugs to keep them participating against their will. In a press conference following Diddy's arrest, U.S. Attorney Damian Williams described these freak-offs in disturbing detail. For decades, Sean Combs, known as Diddy, has portrayed himself as a musical mogul and successful businessman. Behind the scenes, Combs has engaged in a pattern of physical and psychological abuse, manipulation, and coercion of women and others around him. Through physical violence, threats, coercion, and intimidation, Combs allegedly maintained control over his victims. The indictment alleges that Diddy's business and employees were integral to facilitating these activities. High-ranking supervisors, personal assistants, security staff, and household staff allegedly booked hotel rooms, stocked supplies, including drugs, baby oil, personal lubricant, extra linens, and lighting, arranged for victims and commercial sex workers to travel, delivered large quantities of cash to pay commercial workers, and helped cover up crimes. The most shocking piece of physical evidence came in March 2024, when authorities conducted a raid on Diddy's Los Angeles mansion, seizing narcotics, Arkansas, 15S with defaced serial numbers, and over 1,000 bottles of baby oil, allegedly used for these freak-offs. Beyond the federal charges, Diddy faces over 60 civil lawsuits with allegations spanning decades. These include claims of rape, sexual assault, physical abuse, drugging, and sex trafficking, with some allegations dating back to the 1990s. Among the most disturbing are lawsuits claiming that Diddy assaulted minors, including one lawsuit claiming he assaulted a 13-year-old girl in 2000. Diddy has pleaded not guilty to all federal charges and has been detained at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn since his arrest in September 2024. His legal team, led by attorney Mark Agnifilo, has maintained his innocence, describing the prosecution as unjust and arguing that the sexual activities were consensual. His resolve is the same. He believes he's innocent. I believe he's innocent. And we're going to fight this case with all of our might until we don't have to fight any longer. The trial, United States v. Combs, began on May 5th, 2025, with jury selection in Manhattan. Potential jurors were presented with a list of over 190 celebrities and public figures, including Michael B. Jordan, to gauge their familiarity and potential bias. This is where Jordan's name entered the public narrative of this case, creating the association that has led to speculation and concern about his connection to the allegations. The inclusion of Jordan's name on this list was strictly due to his past connection with Cassie Ventura and Diddy's alleged threat, not because of any involvement in the criminal activities described in the indictment. As previously established, multiple sources have confirmed that Jordan will not be called as a witness and is not implicated in any of the charges. Opening statements in the trial are expected to begin on May 12, 2025, and the trial is anticipated to last 8 to 10 weeks. If convicted on all counts, Diddy faces up to life in prison, given the severity of the charges, particularly sex trafficking and racketeering. Looking back, there were signs of Diddy's alleged behavior in his public statements over the years. In a 2002 appearance on Conan O'Brien's Late Night Show, Diddy made comments about partying that take on a more sinister meaning in light of current allegations.
You need locks on the doors?
Okay, this is sounding kind of dangerous now.
When appearing on The Ellen Show in 2009, Diddy defended Chris Brown after his assault on Rihanna, making statements that seem particularly troubling given what we now know about his own alleged behavior toward Cassie.
I don't think that it's right for anybody to hit anybody at the end of the day, you know? And I don't think it's right, You know, I think that we all have to be honest with ourselves as adults and people that have been in relationships.
This appearance occurred in 2009, 7 years before the incident involving Diddy beating Cassie Ventura in a hotel hallway in Los Angeles, caught on security cameras and later released to the public. In a bizarre twist, at the 2022 BET Awards, Diddy publicly thanked Cassie while accepting an award.
Yeah, and also Cassie for holding me down in the dark times. Love.
This statement takes on a disturbing new meaning in light of the allegations that he subjected her to years of abuse and coercion. As for Michael B. Jordan, his only documented interaction with Diddy outside of the alleged threat comes from a 2015 TMZ video showing Jordan being denied entry to Diddy's BET Awards after party. The clip shows Diddy's team attempting to bring Jordan into the party after initially turning him away. But by then, Jordan had already left.
But don't worry about Michael B, because guess who had his back? Diddy!
He has a guy run out of BOA to catch up to Mike.
What's particularly noteworthy about this incident is that it occurred in the same time frame as Jordan's alleged flirtation with Cassie and Diddy's alleged threat. Viewed through that lens, this seemingly innocuous party denial takes on potential new meanings. Was it simply a coincidence, or was it connected to tensions over Cassie? While the trial proceeds, the public reaction to Jordan's name being mentioned continues to evolve. Some social media users have expressed concern about the potential impact on his reputation, while others have recognized that he appears to be more victim than perpetrator in this narrative. On Reddit, users debated the implications, with some noting that Jordan's association with the case is unfair given his apparent lack of involvement. He's not involved. His name was only mentioned because he briefly dated Cassie years ago, and she is testifying. Other Reddit comments expressed concern about the reputational impact of even being mentioned. I sure hope they aren't involved, man, reflecting the immediate assumption that being named must indicate some level of culpability. On X, reactions range from supportive to speculative. One user correctly identified Jordan's status in the case. So far, Michael B. Jordan is only named as a victim of Diddy's behavior, so I don't know why people are being dramatic. Others provided context. It's been confirmed that it was actor Michael B. Jordan that was threatened by P. Diddy for having a flirtatious relationship with Cassie after her breakup with Combs. This is why his name was brought up in pre-trial. However, some comments veered into unfounded speculation or even support for Diddy despite the serious allegations. I like the movie Sinners, but Michael B. Jordan don't need to be saying shot about Diddy. What his name coming up about? He seemed like the last to know something anyway. If they don't hash free Diddy from this nonsense. The trial is expected to feature testimony from numerous witnesses, including Cassie Ventura, whose 2023 lawsuit against Diddy was settled quickly, but contained allegations that align with the federal charges. The trial is being closely watched not just for its celebrity defendant, but also for what it might reveal about power, abuse, and complicity in the entertainment industry. For Michael B. Jordan, being drawn into this narrative represents an unfortunate collision with a much darker story than his own. His brief connection to Cassie Ventura has placed him on the periphery of one of the most disturbing celebrity cases in recent memory, despite all evidence suggesting he was, at most, a victim of Diddy's alleged controlling behavior rather than a participant in any wrongdoing. As the trial unfolds in the coming months, it's likely that more details will emerge about Diddy's alleged crimes and the extensive network of enablers and victims surrounding him. However, based on current information from multiple reliable sources, Michael B. Jordan's connection to this case remains limited to that brief 2015 interaction, a flirtation with Cassie that allegedly earned him a threat from one of music's most powerful figures. The fact that Jordan's name has been drawn into this narrative serves as a reminder of how far-reaching the impact of alleged abuse and control can be, affecting not just the primary victims, but also those in their orbit. It also demonstrates the challenge of maintaining one's reputation in an era when mere association with a controversial case can lead to unfounded speculation and assumptions. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video, click on one of the boxes playing on your screen to watch more similar content.
Breaking news, the Department of Homeland Security has just confirmed to CNN that federal law enforcement agents have raided properties owned by musician and producer Sean Diddy Combs.
It seems trouble has set up camp on Diddy's doorstep, with not one, not two, but a whopping 5 lawsuits knocking on his door in just 5 months.
Now to the latest legal drama involving rapper and music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. A new lawsuit filed by a producer and videographer.
Sean Diddy Combs is facing new allegations of sexual assault. This time, a woman claims the rapper drugged and sexually assaulted her in New York City back in 1991.
Talk about a legal limbo. And if that's not enough drama for you, federal agents decided to join the party by raiding 2 of his properties in LA and Miami. These raids aren't just raising eyebrows, they're raising the roof on Diddy's house of controversies.
Certainly, these Homeland Security officers were looking for evidence of crimes. So, for example, P. Diddy has been accused of sex trafficking. He's also been accused of non-consensual pornography.
The rumor mill is spinning faster than a DJ's turntable at a rooftop party. What went down in those raids? Was it a case of mistaken identity or a Hollywood heist worthy of its own screenplay? Find out all the details in this video. House raids. Let's start by taking a closer look at the dramatic events that unfolded at Diddy's Los Angeles area home. The scene was nothing short of chaotic as law enforcement descended upon the property with a force that seemed straight out of a Hollywood blockbuster. An exclusive report obtained by TMZ shows the entire area surrounding Diddy's home shut down, with helicopters swirling overhead and a multitude of police officers on the ground. The sheer scale of the operation was mind-boggling. Reports indicate that the raid was led by agents from Homeland Security Investigations New York, with assistance from HSI Los Angeles and HSI Miami, along with local law enforcement partners. The involvement of federal agencies only adds to the gravity of the situation. Law enforcement sources have revealed that the Southern District of New York is handling this case, and it appears to be connected to sex trafficking allegations that have been leveled against Diddy in recent months by multiple people. These allegations have cast a dark shadow over the music mogul's reputation and have now led to this high-stakes raid. As the helicopters swarmed above, armed agents were seen on the ground, moving swiftly and purposefully. The intensity of the situation was evident as law enforcement officers combed through the property, searching for evidence related to the allegations. In a shocking twist, video footage posted by Fox showed several individuals in handcuffs near the property. To the astonishment of many, two of them appeared to be Diddy's own sons, Justin and King Combs. But the drama didn't end there. Additional footage obtained by TMZ revealed that federal agents had even arrived at Diddy's property via water. Armed agents were seen standing on a boat, ready to assist in the raid. The level of preparation and coordination displayed by law enforcement was truly remarkable. Meanwhile, in the front of the house, people were being questioned, adding to the air of mystery surrounding the investigation. The identities of these individuals and their connection to Diddy and the alleged crimes remain unknown, leaving the public hungry for answers. While the chaos unfolded on the West Coast, federal agents also descended upon Diddy's luxurious Miami residence. Local law enforcement worked in tandem with Homeland Security Investigations to execute the operation. Just like in Los Angeles, law enforcement officers were seen walking through the house with guns drawn. The gravity of the situation was evident as they searched for any evidence that could shed light on the alleged sex trafficking activities. Simultaneously, federal authorities were present at the Florida property. The synchronized raids on both coasts of America only served to emphasize the seriousness of the allegations against Diddy. Law enforcement sources have revealed that Diddy was in the Miami area when the raids were taking place. This revelation raises questions about his potential involvement in the alleged activities under investigation. Was he aware of what was happening in his own homes, or was he caught off guard by the sudden and dramatic turn of events? As the raid unfolded, investigators seized Diddy's phones. The exact number of devices or phones seized remains unclear, but this action suggests that law enforcement is leaving no stone unturned in their pursuit of evidence. What information could be contained within those devices? Could it provide crucial evidence to support the allegations? The involvement of federal agencies, the presence of armed law enforcement personnel, and the simultaneous raids on both coasts have left the public in a state of shock. The magnitude of the investigation and the potential implications for Diddy's reputation and career cannot be overstated. The Homeland Security Investigations New York confirmed the raid in a statement, emphasizing that it was part of an ongoing investigation. HSI Los Angeles, HSI Miami, and local law enforcement partners all played a crucial role in executing the operation. The statement provided little detail, leaving the public hungry for more information about the allegations and the potential consequences for Diddy. Diddy was later questioned at a private airport in Miami. He showed up at Miami Opa-locka Executive Airport around 6 p.m. Diddy was seen walking around nervously after being questioned by customs agents. However, as of Monday evening, he was still a free man. At his California home, a neighbor spoke to Daily Mail about the wild parties at Diddy's mansion. Ryan Mendelsohn, who lives nearby, described seeing many beautiful women being brought to the house late at night. He mentioned seeing fancy cars and girls in swimsuits arriving between 1 and 3 a.m. Mendelsohn assumed these were women coming to a famous man's after party following a night out in LA. He's never personally seen Diddy with women, but after the charges and the raid, he thinks it's more suspicious. About a month ago, on a Saturday, there were a lot of SUVs dropping people off along the street. He mentioned that parties happened in the neighborhood not just on weekends, but all week long. Even on a Tuesday night in Beverly Hills, there's a party happening from 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. He thinks these parties often lead to bad outcomes. During the raids on Monday, a sightseeing bus drove by the mansion, and people took photos and asked the media for information, creating a typical Hollywood scene. While we wait for more information, information, let's look at the sexual assault lawsuits filed against Diddy in the past months. Let's start by diving deep into the explosive lawsuit filed by R&B singer Cassie Diddy. To understand the gravity of the situation, let's take a look at the timeline and key events that led up to Cassie's courageous decision to take legal action against Diddy. It all began in 2005 when Cassie first crossed paths with Diddy. At the time, she was just 19, and in 2006, Diddy expressed romantic interest in her. According to the lawsuit, Diddy lured Cassie into what she initially perceived as a fatherly, protective relationship. However, she soon found herself trapped in an unequal and violent sexual relationship. As Cassie's star began to rise, Diddy's control over her life tightened. In 2007, she signed a deal with Diddy's record label, Bad Boy Records, which only served to intensify his grip on her. He allegedly exerted complete control over every aspect of her life, from her apartment to her car, clothing, and even her medical records. This level of control was designed to keep her under his thumb and ensure her compliance. The lawsuit alleges that Diddy's abusive behavior was witnessed by his staff and employees, yet no one dared to speak up against their frightening boss. Cassie, fearing the consequences of going to the police, suffered in silence. She believed that involving the authorities would only give Diddy another excuse to hurt her. In 2009, the abuse reached a horrifying peak. Diddy allegedly kicked Cassie repeatedly in the face, causing her to bleed. His staff then hid her away in a hotel room, shielding her from the outside world. But even in hiding, Diddy's vast network of corporations and affiliated entities found her. Those who worked for his companies implored her to return, going as far as to explicitly state that her failure to do so would hinder her success in the entertainment industry. Throughout her relationship with Diddy, Cassie suffered from memory loss due to copious substance use and experienced suicidal ideation. The court papers even mention an instance where MRI results went directly to Diddy, further showing his control over her life. The lawsuit takes an even more shocking turn when it reveals that Diddy forced Cassie to take part in what he called freak-offs. These were arrangements where she had no choice but to plan and engage in sex acts with male sex workers while he watched and filmed. These encounters took place in high-end hotels across the country and occurred as often as once a week. Cassie would delete videos shot on her phone, desperately trying to erase the evidence of these horrific encounters. But Diddy's control over her was so extensive that she was forced to watch footage she thought she had gotten rid of on a flight. In 2012, Diddy's alleged retaliation against rapper Kid Cudi, who briefly dated Cassie, came to light. The lawsuit claims that Diddy blew up Kid Cudi's car in his driveway as a form of revenge. Kid Cudi himself confirmed the account, stating that it was true. The final straw came in 2018, when Diddy allegedly forced his way into Cassie's home and raped her. Despite her repeated objections and attempts to push him away, he ignored her pleas. This traumatic incident led Cassie to finally leave him for good and sever her association with Bad Boy Records in 2019. Just one day after Cassie filed the lawsuit, a surprising turn of events occurred. Cassie and Diddy reached a settlement, choosing to resolve the matter amicably. The terms of the settlement were not disclosed to the public, leaving many curious about what led to this sudden resolution. By settling out of court, Diddy managed to avoid the potential release of damaging evidence during the legal discovery process. In a statement on November 18th, Diddy expressed his well wishes to Cassie and her family, stating, "I wish Cassie and her family all the best." Diddy's lawyer, Ben Brafman, stated that the settlement does not undermine Diddy's flat-out denial of the claims. He further clarified that the decision to settle was a mutual one, and Diddy was happy that they were able to reach a resolution. Cassie's civil suit was brought under the Adult Survivors Act. This New York law allows victims of sexual abuse who were 18 or older at the time of the abuse to bring cases within a one-year window after the expiration of any statutes of limitation. Cassie's decision to file the lawsuit and settle within this window allowed her to confront her abuser and hold him accountable for his actions. The music industry reacted strongly to the allegations against Diddy. Singer-songwriter Tiffany Red published an open letter in Rolling Stone, corroborating Cassie's claims and sharing her own experiences with Diddy's abusive behavior. Red revealed that she became close to Cassie in 2015 while writing an album that Diddy never released. She witnessed firsthand the verbal abuse Cassie endured at her 29th birthday party. She even saw Diddy drag a drugged Cassie to a freak-off in the middle of the night. 50 Cent wasted no time in responding to the settlement. He announced that he would be working on a documentary about Diddy's sexual assault allegations. In a tweet on December 7th, 50 Cent confirmed that the proceeds from the documentary, produced by G-Unit Film and Television, would go to victims of sexual assault and rape. The documentary aims to raise awareness about these issues and support those who have been affected. The music industry also saw a notable response from Kesha. She changed the lyrics of her chart-topping 2009 hit TikTok in response to the allegations against Diddy. The original lyrics opened with the line, "Wake up in the morning feeling like P. Diddy." But in a performance on November 19th, Kesha changed it to "Wake up in the morning feeling like me." This change was seen as a symbolic gesture of solidarity with Cassie and the victims of sexual abuse. Former Danity Kane member Aubrey O'Day, who was formed by Diddy on MTV's Making the Band in 2005, expressed her support for Cassie. She took to Twitter, stating that she had been trying to raise awareness about Diddy's behavior for some time. Dawn Richard, another former member of Danity Kane, also shared a message of support for Cassie, praying for her and her family's peace and healing. Other sexual assault lawsuits. Days after settling with Cassie, a second lawsuit was filed against Diddy. According to court documents obtained by USA Today, Dickerson Neal filed her complaint in Manhattan Supreme Court just a day before the New York State Adult Survivors Act expiration date. Dickerson Neal alleges that in 1991, when she was a college student at Syracuse University, she reluctantly agreed to have dinner with Diddy during a school break for the holidays. However, what was supposed to be a simple dinner turned into a nightmare for Dickerson Neal. During their date, Dickerson Neal claims that Diddy intentionally drugged her, rendering her physically unable to stand or walk independently. The lawsuit states that Diddy spiked her drink when she briefly left it unattended to use the restroom. After dinner, Diddy and Dickerson Neal continued to spend the night together. She recalls being taken to a music studio and then to Diddy's home, where the sexual assault allegedly took place. Despite feeling humiliated and hurt, Dickerson Neal found herself trapped and unable to escape the assault. The lawsuit further reveals a chilling detail. A male friend identified as Devontae Swing, a member of the R&B group Jodeci, allegedly revealed to Dickerson Neal that he had viewed a sex tape of the assault along with other men. When she asked who had seen the video, his response was simply everyone. Diddy, through a spokesperson, denies the allegations, stating that Dickerson Neal's 32-year-old story is fabricated and lacks credibility. The spokesperson further claims that the lawsuit is nothing more than a money grab, asserting that Diddy never assaulted Dickerson Neal and that the companies implicated in the suit did not even exist at the time of the alleged assault. Despite Diddy's denial, Dickerson Neal's attorney, Jonathan Goldhirsch, stands firm in his client's claims. He emphasizes that the lawsuit was filed under the New York State Adult Survivors Act, which provides a one-year window for victims of sexual abuse to seek justice. Goldhirsch asserts that Dickerson Neal's decision to come forward is a courageous step towards holding Diddy accountable for his actions. The legal battle between Dickerson Neal and Diddy is ongoing. The lawsuit names Diddy, Bad Boy Entertainment, Bad Boy Records, and Diddy Enterprises as defendants. Blackburn asserts that his client's life has been irreparably damaged since he agreed to produce Diddy's album in August 2022. Lil Rod alleges that he was under an implied work-for-hire agreement with Diddy, which led him to live with the media mogul for extended periods in Los Angeles, New York City, Miami, and even on a yacht in the U.S. Virgin Islands. He said, "Throughout my time with Mr. Combs, I witnessed, experienced, and endured things that went far beyond my role as a producer on the Love album." Lil Rod describes himself as a heterosexual Christian man who claims to have been the victim of constant unsolicited and unauthorized groping and touching of his anus by Diddy. He expressed his discomfort with Diddy's advances to Diddy's chief of staff, who allegedly dismissed his concerns with the statement, "You know, Sean will be Sean." Blackburn goes as far as comparing Coram to Ghislaine Maxwell, the associate of Jeffrey Epstein. Lil Rod said, "I was uncomfortable with Mr. Combs' advances and I expressed my complaints, but it seemed like nobody cared." Lil Rod also alleges that Diddy attempted to groom him into engaging in homosexual acts with fellow producer Stephen Aaron Jordan, also known as Stevie J. In a shocking twist, Diddy promised to ensure that Lil Rod would win the Producer of the Year award at the Grammys if he engaged in homosexuality. But perhaps the most damning evidence in Lil Rod's possession is the alleged footage he obtained. Lil Rod claims to have captured people involved in sexual activity at Diddy's home, which he believes was recorded through hidden cameras scattered throughout Diddy's properties. As the scandal surrounding Diddy and Lil Rod continued to unfold, even more shocking allegations came to light. Lil Rod claims that he was not only a victim of Diddy's alleged misconduct, but also of sexual assault by a cousin or assistant of rapper Young Miami, who was romantically involved with Diddy. Additionally, Lil Rod alleges that he was sexually harassed and assaulted by Oscar winner Cuba Gooding Jr. Lil Rod further claims to have obtained footage of a rapper and an R&B singer engaging in inappropriate activities with underage girls and sex workers. The names of these individuals have been redacted from the complaint, leaving the public in suspense about their identities. However, perhaps the most alarming revelation is Lil Rod's assertion that Diddy possesses compromising footage of every person who has. has. Grab and unsubstantiated, these accusations cannot be ignored. The lawsuit not only names Diddy and Hall, but also includes MCA Music Entertainment Group and Geffen Records as defendants. A fourth lawsuit, filed in New York federal court, alleges that Diddy, along with former Bad Boy Entertainment president Harve Pierre, raped the accuser when she was a minor at the time. The shocking incident is said to have taken place in 2003 when the accuser was only 17 years old. The complaint also mentions a third unnamed assailant. According to the complaint, Diddy, who was 34 years old at the time, convinced the woman, referred to as Jane Doe, to fly from Detroit to New York City on his private jet. Once in the city, she was taken to Diddy's recording studio, where she claims to have been plied with drugs and alcohol to the point where she could not possibly have consented to any sexual activity. It is alleged that while at the studio, Jane Doe was subjected to a horrifying ordeal. She claims to have been gang raped by Diddy, the third assailant, and Harve Pierre in that order. The complaint even includes pictures of Jane Doe with Diddy at the recording studio. In response to the lawsuit, Diddy released a statement denying the allegations, stating that he did not commit any of the awful things being alleged. He expressed his frustration at the attempts to assassinate his character and destroy his reputation. A few months later, producer Rodney Lil Rod Jones came forward with his own shocking allegations against Diddy. In a bombshell lawsuit, Lil Rod accuses Diddy of sexual assault, illicit behavior, and even threats against his life. But that's not all. Lil Rod claims to have obtained incriminating footage that exposes Diddy and several of his associates engaged in these disturbing acts. Lil Rod, who played a pivotal role in producing Diddy's 2023 album, The Love Album Off the Grid, filed a federal lawsuit seeking a staggering $30 million in damages. The lawsuit names not only Diddy, but also his son Justin Dior Combs, Universal Music Group Chief Executive Lucian Charles Grange, former Motown Records Chief Executive Ethiopia Habtemariam, Chalice Recording Studios, Love Records, Combs Enterprises, and Diddy's Chief of Staff Christina KK Coram as defendants. According to Lil Rod, this extensive network of involvement amounts to a violation of the Racketeer-Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, RICO. Lil Rod's attorney, Tyrone A. Blackburn, asserts that his client's life has been irreparably damaged since he agreed to produce Diddy's album in August 2022. Lil Rod alleges that he was under an implied work-for-hire agreement with Diddy, which led him to live with the media mogul for extended periods in Los Angeles, New York City, Miami, and even on a yacht in the U.S. Virgin Islands. He said, "Throughout my time with Mr. Combs, I witnessed, experienced, and endured things that went far beyond my role as a producer on the Love album." Lil Rod describes himself as a heterosexual Christian man who claims to have been the victim of constant unsolicited and unauthorized groping and touching of his anus by Diddy. He expressed his discomfort with Diddy's advances to Diddy's chief of staff, who allegedly dismissed his concerns with the statement, "You know, Sean will be Sean." Blackburn goes as far as comparing Coram to Ghislaine Maxwell, the associate of Jeffrey Epstein. Lil Rod said, "I was uncomfortable with Mr. Combs' advances and I expressed my complaints, but it seemed like nobody cared." Lil Rod also alleges that Diddy attempted to groom him into engaging in homosexual acts with fellow producer Stephen Aaron Jordan, also known as Stevie J. In a shocking twist, Diddy promised to ensure that Lil Rod would win the Producer of the Year award at the Grammys if he engaged in homosexuality. But perhaps the most damning evidence in Lil Rod's possession is the alleged footage he obtained. Lil Rod claims to have captured people involved in sexual activity at Diddy's home, which he believes was recorded through hidden cameras scattered throughout Diddy's properties. As the scandal surrounding Diddy and Lil Rod continued to unfold, even more shocking allegations came to light. Lil Rod claims that he was not only a victim of Diddy's alleged misconduct, but also of sexual assault by a cousin or assistant of rapper Young Miami, who was romantically involved with Diddy. Additionally, Lil Rod alleges that he was sexually harassed and assaulted by Oscar winner Cuba Gooding Jr. Lil Rod further claims to have obtained footage of a rapper and an R&B singer engaging in inappropriate activities with underage girls and sex workers. The names of these individuals have been redacted from the complaint, leaving the public in suspense about their identities. However, perhaps the most alarming revelation is Lil Rod's assertion that Diddy possesses compromising footage of every person who has attended his infamous parties. This treasure trove of evidence allegedly gives Diddy a sense of invincibility, as he believes he is above the law. In response to these explosive allegations, Diddy's attorney, Sean Hawley, has vehemently denied the claims, calling Lil Rod a liar and accusing him of seeking an undeserved payday. Hawley asserts that they have overwhelming proof that Lil Rod's claims are complete lies. Hawley further claims that their attempts to share this proof with Lil Rod's attorney, Tyrone Blackburn, have been ignored, as Blackburn refuses to return their calls. The legal battle between the two parties is set to unfold in court, with Diddy vowing to take all appropriate action against those who make these outlandish allegations. Let's explore how some of Sean Diddy Combs' previous legal troubles have played out. In 2010, Francesca Sparrow, a music executive in her 50s, filed a lawsuit against Diddy, alleging age discrimination. Sparrow had been a dedicated employee of Diddy since 1998, working tirelessly to contribute to his success. However, her loyalty and commitment were shattered when she was fired from her position. Sparrow claimed that her termination was solely based on her age. She alleged that Diddy and his company had engaged in age discrimination, depriving her of the opportunity to continue working for the mogul she had dedicated years of her life to. Diddy's legal representative argued that Sparrow's firing was a result of legitimate business decisions and performance-related issues. They maintained that age played no role in the decision-making process, emphasizing that Diddy valued diversity and inclusivity within his organization. After months of intense litigation, the parties involved finally reached a turning point. Diddy made the decision to settle the multi-million-dollar lawsuit in 2011, bringing an end to the legal dispute. The specific terms of the settlement were not publicly disclosed, leaving many to speculate about the financial implications for Diddy. Another recent lawsuit filed against Diddy is infamously known as the paparazzo assault lawsuit. On 2011 New Year's Eve, Gustavo Garces, armed with his camera, positioned himself outside the Dream Hotel in Miami. According to Garces, Diddy's bodyguards aggressively confronted him, forcibly preventing him from taking pictures. The situation quickly escalated into a physical altercation, with Garces finding himself on the receiving end of the bodyguard's aggression. Garces alleged that he was subjected to a brutal assault, enduring punches, kicks, and verbal abuse from Diddy's bodyguards. In the aftermath of the assault, Garces took a stand against the violence he experienced. He filed a lawsuit against Diddy, seeking justice for the harm inflicted upon him. Garces' attorney argued that the assault was unprovoked and unjustified. They maintained that Diddy's bodyguards had crossed the line, using excessive force to prevent Garces from doing his job as a paparazzo. The lawsuit sought to hold Diddy and his team accountable for their actions. After 6 years of legal proceedings, a settlement was finally reached in 2017. Gustavo Garces agreed to receive $35,000 in exchange for releasing Diddy, his bodyguards, and their insurance company from any further liability. In 2017, Cindy Rueda, a former personal chef for Diddy, came forward with allegations of sexual harassment and unfair working conditions. Cindy Rueda had the opportunity to work closely with Diddy in 2015. However, her experience took a dark turn when she claimed to have been subjected to sexual harassment and exploitative working conditions. Rueda alleged that Diddy made inappropriate comments and requests, creating a hostile work environment. She claimed that he once asked her to cook a post-coital meal and even went as far as inquiring about her attraction to his naked body. Diddy's spokesperson swiftly responded to the allegations, denying Rueda's claims. They described her as a disgruntled ex-employee and dismissed her accusations as baseless. The spokesperson maintained that Diddy had always fostered a respectful and inclusive work environment. After a lengthy legal battle, Rueda and Diddy reached a settlement in 2019. The specific terms of the settlement were not publicly disclosed. In 2022, Raven Wales Walden, a former nanny working for Diddy, filed a wrongful termination lawsuit, alleging discrimination and retaliation. Wales Walden found herself entangled in a legal dispute with Diddy after what she claims was an unjust termination. Wales Walden alleged that she was wrongfully fired after disclosing her pregnancy in 2020, citing discrimination as the motive behind her dismissal. Adding another layer of complexity to the case, Wales Walden also asserted that she was the niece of Kim Porter, Diddy's former partner. She claimed that her familial connection to Porter played a role in the discrimination she faced and the subsequent termination. In a press conference, Wales Walden and her legal team spoke out against the alleged mistreatment she endured while working for Diddy. Diddy responded to the allegations, denying any wrongdoing. His spokesperson stated that Wales Walden was not related to Kim Porter and that her termination was based on legitimate reasons unrelated to her pregnancy. They labeled the lawsuit as a meritless shakedown to extort money from Diddy. The wrongful termination lawsuit filed by Raven Wales Walden against Diddy is currently ongoing in the Los Angeles County Superior Court. As of now, the court has yet to reach a verdict or settlement in the case. If you enjoyed this video, click on the card showing on your screen right now for more videos.